No, I want to know where my contacts are. No, you told me last time to go to this cloud or whatever it is and sync it all up there, but it's not up there. Why'd you take my contacts? No, don't tell me. Stop yelling at me. No, I want you to just tell me where. I want to call my mom. I just want to call my mom. I can't even call my mom, my dad, my friend, anything like that. You stole my contacts. No, your manager. Let me talk to him. Talk to him right now. No, I want you to find my contacts. Pay. You know what? Pay for the phone.
You need to understand I'm an important person. This is ridiculous. My contacts need to be delivered to my phone right now.
You don't know what it is to really want something. To be on a mission. Journeying into the unknown.
It sounds brave.
It's so simple, Alejandro. This is it. The sky's the limit.
And today we have Problemista. I almost forgot about this one. I think a lot of us did. This was supposed to come out last year. We got the trailers for it. A24 was rolling out their whole marketing shebang, and then the SAG after it, though, the strikes happened, the writer strikes. They stopped, postponed things, pushed the movie back. I literally almost remembered one day, looked up a trailer, and then I saw there was a new release date. And then sure enough, like a couple days after I looked it up, they started, funny enough, rolling the trailers back out again, and then boom, here we are with Problemista, and now a 2024 release. Fun fact, it's actually directed and stars the same person, but yeah, we have Julio Torres, a true delight, honestly. So in terms of directing, this is in fact Mr. Torres' directorial debut, but as an actor and a writer, he's very prolific and has years and years of experience, whether it's something more recent of a performance, like the Oscar-nominated Nimona, which I promise I will watch someday, but he's Diego the Squire in Nimona. But I looked further into his IMDb, and he has been a writer, and if it's any testament to his character, he's been a writer on SNL for, since 2016, with over 60 episodes worth of writing under his belt. So he's been in the comedy writing circuit. Say what you will about SNL, they're not consistently funny, but they do have their moments, and I'm sure he was responsible for a lot of them. And our other primary star, and she seems like she'd be an antagonist, but watch the movie. The more I thought about it as I was doing this review, I want to give more than a shout out, but I want to give praise and accolades to Tilda Swinton. She may be one of the best actors out there right now. Like, I'm so happy, I feel honored, have been born into a period of time where she's out there just elevating the art form, honestly. This tells you anything about how prolific and how varied and versatile. Also, her character in Guillermo del Toro's version of Pinocchio, the only one in my opinion that really matters, and then even her smaller role like in Asteroid City. Like, no matter what she's in, it's just like, boom, she is that person, she is that character. You want to talk about actors who disappear into their roles and who have versatility across everything from accents to, like, visually speaking. Like, she's a delight, she's a treat. And the two of them, by the way, in this film, like, chef's kiss. Also, I just had to give her a shout out just for, like, personal enjoyment reasons, but Greta Lee's also in this. She's getting more roles. Our gal that was in both Past Lives and was also AI Lila in Across the Spider-Verse, so it's just fun to see Greta Lee pop in there too. And RZA. It's always funny and fun to me when I see RZA pop up somewhere, whether it's in The Man with the Iron Fist, whether it's the sniper shooting brother in Nobody. RZA is like an unexpected delight. It's like seeing Kid Cudi pop up in movies too. You're just like, oh, okay, sure. Like, Problemista. We saw this trailer so many times in the theater, to the point where the whole "we'll see" just became a meme in our cinema friend group. I loved this film. My gut instinct is to call it like a diet version of Everything Everywhere All at Once, which again, A24 kind of helping to back films that bring that vibe of both weird, wacky, creative, esoteric concepts to the same table as more philosophical discussions and existential dilemmas take place. Brings that certain vibe to the party that not everybody gets down with, but I'm always there for. But where to begin? Pros first, as always. I loved this film. From the style that it's shot and presented, to the themes that are tackled, to the aesthetics, to the characters, to the kooky narrative and the anxieties and the commentary on life and art, immigrants trying to make it in our country. Like, it was great. I loved everything about it. It's definitely a MovieMan banger for sure. Funny enough, with the trailer, I didn't think I was going to like it as much as I did. I thought it was going to be a fun time, but this was really good. It's supremely creative in the way it handles and tackles all these things. I'm caught in that weird snare, right? That cinema snare, where I don't want to reveal too much about what happens in the movie or plot lines or anything, because really, the trailer gives you an idea, like the basic premise. Right? Alejandro, he needs to get a job and get a sponsor so he can get the money to get his documents in order so that basically he's not deported. Or in the case of how it's handled through the lens of this movie, literally just disappears and no longer is. So that's him meeting Tilda Swinton's character, who is an art critic in New York, and she's like, okay, well, help me put together this exhibition and I'll sponsor you. And that's all you need to know. Go in as blind as you can after that. This trailer does what I prefer that trailers do and buries the lead on the rest of the film. It gives you an idea of what you're expecting and then just surprises and delights. So getting back to the cinema snare, I'm caught in the reviewer pitfall, as it were, that I don't want to give away too much of the film, so I have to talk in these vague terms, basically, and communicate what the film does well without telling you what it does, essentially. But I'll leave it at this. Its story and its core themes and its characters and how the plot progresses and the issues that our protagonist runs into and faces throughout the film are handled and presented in a very, very creative and fun little, craft fair, garage sale ways. You watch the movie, it'll click and you'll get what I'm talking about here. But it's just so fun to see the writers, I'm sure Julio had one or two things to say. Fun to see the writers and the director and the actors, all of them come together and find creative ways, visually or otherwise, or even acting wise, to get its concepts across and to propel its narrative forward and to give us struggle and striving yet still moments of joy and levity. This film is so well executed on an already creative premise. And it's hilarious, by the way. As always, we pop the asterisk into the corner up there. We have the usual comedy disclaimer. Comedy, yes, it is subjective. There are comedies, I've come on here before and said, I didn't find it very funny. I've come on here before and said, you know what, the poo-poo caca and all that, I don't find it very tee-hee worthy. And I still stand by that. Me personally, you've seen if you know me, cool, you know what my sense of humor is like. Sometimes garbage, other times perhaps intellectual. I feel like Problemista is a very hilariously written movie. There are literally lines in here that for me will go down in cinema history, one of which involves a very well-known corporate bank. I'll leave it at that. There's some killer lines and killer moments of comedy in here, and comedy that hits deep for those of us that have worked in customer service and had to deal with, for lack of a better term, the Karen, as well as the struggles of just trying to make it, just artistically, or find a job, or the struggle that I cannot relate to, but that of an immigrant trying to get through the system that we have in place, where it's like, you have to pay these fees to be able to stay here legally, but you can't take money legally right now. You gotta find a sponsor first. You gotta find some under the table cash stuff to get you going. It's ridiculous for a place that used to advertise, give us your tired, give us your tired something masses yearning to be free. We used to be known as a melting pot. I learned that in Schoolhouse Rock, for Christ's sake. And now it's the red tape, the yellow tape, all the tape, and the hurdles you have to get through just to be here and live and have a happy life. It's crazy. And I like it when movies talk about that. In the case of this, it tackles that issue, and it does so very creatively and artistically. And these characters, especially when it comes to Alejandro is a very interesting, compelling character who is inherently flawed. He has a little hero's journey. But you want to talk about a layered, compelling, interesting, flawed character, Tilda Swinton, I love the layers to this person, and it's really cool. The same thing that Last of Us Part 2 did for trying to show you both sides to a coin and show you both, Ellie and Abby as well. This movie does something similar, showing you both Julio Torres' character as well as Tilda Swinton's. I really enjoyed how they approached and displayed and then unearthed her character. I've already touched on this, but I'll end the pros list with basically saying this is what movies like Everything Everywhere All at Once does. I just love movies that are able to take basically absurd or abstract concepts or presentation of concepts, but be able to give them, this might be the proper term, like surreal application, like maybe a surrealist application, if that makes any sense. I might be using the wrong word, but that's what my gut told me to use. When you can just show me the weird, the zany, the whimsical inner machinations of one's mind on display, but it makes sense, whether it's through allegory or metaphor or what have you. Give me a weird movie with a bunch of kooky stuff happening or very uncanny valley kind of events, just very dystopian feelings. Just weird, people say weird things happen, and people accept it and take it in stride and as gospel. It's one of those kinds of movies, right? But you can still see the real world application to it. There's still purpose to it. For all the crazy things that happen in Poor Things, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Problemista, for all the weird, wild, wacky things that happens in films like these, it all serves a greater purpose, and it's all still grounded in compelling drama and characters and story. And this film, again, is one of those to be added to that cinematic hall of fame, in my opinion. I thought about this long and hard for days. The only possible complaint / gripe or nitpick that I could come up with for this film was that one scene, maybe two scenes, very, very minute pacing issues. There might have been a couple moments where I don't want to say zoned out, but where I just thought that the scene was executed in a weird way from a directional standpoint, or just kind of overstayed its welcome for a few seconds or something like that. But that's it. Maybe you can try to attack the movie and say that it was too weird or silly, or that the comedy didn't land, or it was trying to be too high concept. You could technically say any of those things, right? But end of the day, the only issue I had were very mild pacing issues, but that's it. I only had nitpicks for this film. This is pretty much a perfect film, but I just can't say that it 100% is. Heavily recommend Problemista. Right now, it's probably going to be in my top 10 for the year. I don't know how the list is going to look at the end of the year, but Problemista is up there for sure. So that's why I'd give it a low 5 out of 5. A low 5 out of 5. It's on that weird, pretty much is perfect, almost there. 100% see it in theaters if you can. If you like the type of films that I like, if any of this appeals to you, if the trailer has you interested or curious, you're probably going to love it. I recommend it. I'll leave it at that. Maybe you won't like it, but I think you will. Thank you guys and gals so much for watching. As usual, another A24
Bainer.
Stay tuned for the next episode of whatever movie I review. And goodbye, travelers.